You know, if I had to be quite honest with you, my African brothers and sisters, as a young man that practiced Pan Africanism, I sometimes wake up feeling hopeless, feeling powerless, thinking to myself, will we ever see the fruits of true liberation in Africa? Why is it that it is difficult for our people to unite? Which types of systems do we as Pan Africanists have to put together to resurrect black consciousness from our people? Why do our people hate their own skin color and praise their colonizers? Why is it that Africans think that they can't do it alone? Why is it that Africa thinks they need the USA, that they need Russia, that they need China, that they need India, that they need everyone else to make them great? They don't look from within. It breaks my heart. When we look into these political systems, is it really the way to go to liberate Africans? When I look at the South African political status, the only two parties that I see that can truly liberate us is the MK party and the EFF. I'm so happy this past weekend at Bila that the MK party has now formally declared that they are a Pan-Africanist party. It brought joy, unmeasurable joy to my heart.
Welcome to King Said So, Africa's one land, one language, one currency, one army on King Said So. Africans can unite. Your Pan-Africanist podcast. Enjoy.
Blackheart, the hustle continuer. Made to inspire your goals and dreams. 100% good quality clothes are now available at affordable prices. T-shirts, hoodies, sweaters, bucket hats, and more. Place your orders now. 06847366908. Instagram Black7576. Facebook page Blackheart.
Said that an organization that ought to be progressive like the ANC is not engaging with progressive parties like Umkhonto weSizwe and the EFF, so we can have a two-third majority to transform this country. Why does it take the black vote? And that's what members of the ANC ought to be asking themselves, and black South Africans that voted for Cyril Ramaphosa's ANC. And I know some of them wanted to vote for the ANC, but they've turned out to realize that they've actually given it to a sellout. And he's selling us out. He's selling us out to whites who are racist. So we should be asking ourselves, what kind of a leader actually goes and engages with racist whites as opposed to engaging with MK? I can tell you now, off the back of what has been discussed here, Parliament is going to be very interesting. Umkhonto is going to bring a totally different element and a totally different approach in terms of how we deal with things and how we raise things in Parliament. And we're going to be raising things that are totally unique that South Africans ought to be knowing about that have not been surfaced. So that's our responsibility, and it's going to be very interesting, especially if this so-called GNU continues.
Peace in Pan-Africanism to all my African brothers and sisters from all around the world. Welcome back to King Said So. I'm your host, King 053, Mr. Easy Mali Eneng, and we're back at it again with another one. And Umkhonto weSizwe was at Bila, meeting there. Some serious people we saw there, Montada was there. I mean, I'm so happy to see that Umkhonto weSizwe is bringing out the big guns in South Africa. The people who are written off were white monopoly capitalists, and the CR7 campaign with the Zondo Commission tried to write off people like Bob Brian Molefe, who served this country with flying colors. The fight is on. I think some of us don't realize just how much fighting we have to do. You cannot, I'm telling you, my African brothers and sisters, cannot fix what has happened to us as Africans since the early of the 14th century up until today in just a few months, in just a few years. It takes a system to kill a system. The systems that the Americans, the Europeans have placed in Africa are working like a well-oiled machine. And Africa is fighting back, in my opinion, without formulating stronger systems to fight the systems that are in place. System of language, system of religion, system of electoral system, system of education, system of culture, system of tradition, the systems that they have placed, the financial system, all of these systems need to be replaced. We cannot think that we can even beat them on the systems that they have placed. They know how to manipulate these systems completely. That's why you will see the currency going up when the white people are happy, currency going down when the white people are angry. That is the type of systems that we are fighting. Coalition government happens, government of national confusion, system goes up, financial system gives the thumbs up. Negotiations go sour, something happens that the white people are not happy with, systems goes down. Why investor this, investor that? When and for how long are we as Africans going to continue to live with this fear of investors? Those investors are making trillions from Africa each and every year. Why do we fear these people? Why don't we think that we can make those trillions? When are we going to find those African brave men who are going to close the African borders from any export to any country that is trying to continue to colonize us, to close our borders? Nothing flying out, nothing shipping out to European countries and to the US. And let's see who can survive longer without who. Let's see. The MK party had beautiful dialogues there. I mean, let me just play you some of the clips that the king was speaking about there. Oh my goodness, fire.
What will be our immediate agenda? My agenda for going to parliament, I waited for 24 years. I didn't want to join a state. To study for 24 years the democratic project, because it was a project. It was not about us. But what I've discovered is that Amakosi claimed the land. There was a ruling by law that Mandela claimed 30% of the South African land from 31st December 1993 till 1998, 31st December. Uba Mandela no ANC, they were busy doing Mandela Child for 5 years, and they didn't tell us to go and claim our land. But they don't blame them. They didn't even know where is our land, which part of the country. Why? Where blacks were staying, blacks were removed through the Forced Removal Act of 1955 and the Land Act of 1913, where blacks are removed, white people are allowed to stay. So every city, but guess what? We've got all those techniques in our hands. Wow. So we can implement them immediately in Parliament. This is what is going to happen. This is what is going to happen. Everyone occupies the land that was belonging to the kings and communities. We don't chase your way. We give you options. You pay us for 112 years since it was law that you moved us out. And it is now law that you must return our land after 1988. But also there's an addition. You are in breach of a judgment from court with over 12 years. That is 2024. So we've got a clear agenda. All those people, you don't think that is difficult. If not 88, Oppenheimer was owning 6,000 companies. Those companies have quite triplicated now. So you're dealing with the same man. Don't worry. What they do cross-directorship in all the companies. So when new companies are coming up, but the same man is owning the same companies. This is the country, and they've been doing this. They've registered South Africa in the US and in the UK as a close corporation, which means Oppenheimer, including our king, including our...
You know, I just want to bring something further to light when it comes to this issue of land. South Africans, even if Umkhonto weSizwe gets 65%, merges with the EFF, merges maybe with the ANC in the next elections, and they opt to take the land, it's not going to be an easy take. The international community is going to fight us with sanctions. Now, South Africa is not a country that can be afraid of sanctions because South Africa controls many minerals that fly out of our country. I told you guys about platinum. That is, we supply about 80% of the world platinum is found in one country, which is South Africa. We can choose who to export and not to export to. Gold, diamonds, manganese. I can go on and on. Coal. South Africa is one of the biggest reserves of coal in the whole world. And the Europeans still use their coal stations, even though they've said, hey, nuclear, they've said what they need coal, green energy, they need and still use the coal from South Africa. So even if you have 2/3 majority, South Africans, be ready to even fight after, after that. It's not going to be easy taking people's land back. People who are benefiting from the land, people who are eating from the land, people who are making sure that this land works for their advantage and it protects the white privilege. It's not going to be easy, even if you change the constitution. I don't want us as Pan-Africanists think that we are never going to come to a point where we'll have to pick up arms and fight for our land. That mistake we must not make. That is why we put people like Abo Angie Mutseka, who is Angie, as ministers of defense force, is to show the Europeans, the investors, that the army poses no threat. This is the second woman we're putting, who is not qualified in any way, shape, or form to be in the army. No experience whatsoever to be in the army. We have appointed another woman yet again for this gender equality rubbish that we do here in South Africa, appointing women with no merit and putting them under pressure to be jokes. Now, the reason why UNG Mcheka is there is because we want to show the people that what is happening in the west of Africa in ECOWAS will not happen in South Africa. I mean, you cannot imagine Angie Mcheka trying to create a coup to take over, to topple over Cyril Ramaphosa. You can't even think of that. She can't even, does she know how to use a gun, that one? Does she have a legal firearm, that one? You understand? So that is what is happening here when it comes to this rubbish about the army and everything. We're weakening our army, and that is what we have to use to show our teeth, like Burkina Faso. You show your teeth by showing the strength of your army. To say, should you try us, we are ready to kill in defense of our people. That is what an army for a country means. I'm happy Mkhonto Wesizwe have said, listen, we are a Pan-Africanist movement. Telling you, the joy that your boy King got. I'm so happy, man. I'm happy because the EFF no longer fights on its own. It was a very lonely. We can't count about PAC and AZAPO and all of those small parties, those Pan-Africanists, fake Pan-Africanists, like about the PAC. The EFF was truly alone in this journey. Truly alone. But let's listen to what Mkhonto Wesizwe are saying now.
Is charting a way forward as it concluded its 3-day strategic meeting in Limpopo. Key amongst the agenda points was the party's constitution. The MK party remains resolute that it will not support a government of national unity, which includes the Democratic Alliance.
The cabinet of Ramaphosa is really a selling out deal for the black majority who still are poor. We're really not worried about it. We would have appreciated a situation where black votes or black political parties who are progressive work together. So this is just a sellout deal that will continue to put our black people, especially the poor, under the oppression that we enjoy.
Zwane says the 3-day meeting by some of the party's leaders, including former President Jacob Zuma, made several resolutions regarding the party's Pan-Africanist position.
So we've declared that we're a Pan-Africanist party, but secondly, we have an ideological posture that we feel needs voters to understand that as a Pan-Africanist organization, we have a responsibility to mobilize the black voters.
Pan-Africanism is a word that has been thrown loosely nowadays. You find Pan-Africanists that don't study the history of Pan-Africanism. They don't understand the first big movement of Marcus Garvey. They don't understand what Pan-Africanism has done in the past. They don't understand how many people were assassinated for leading Pan-Africanist movements. They don't understand what is going on when it comes to Pan-Africanism. You ask a Pan-Africanist, are they really honestly putting their life on the line for other people who don't care about black South Africans? Would you die for a sell-out black person? Would you die for a coconut, for the clever blacks? The answer with me is a most definitely yes. Now, once as a Pan-Africanist, you know that your life comes after the movement. You are already beginning with the right mindset. In this day and time, we cannot have Pan-Africanists who fear death. Death is coming for us for sure. No question about it. There is no Pan-Africanist that must be loved by the enemies, the settlers, the colonizers. If a Pan-Africanist is loved by the enemies, it means there is something wrong with that Pan-Africanist. You cannot say you are pro-black, but the white people love you. I'm not saying when you are pro-black, you must hate white people or whatever, you must be racist. No, I'm saying when you are properly pro-black, it must look like you don't care about anyone else but your people. That's why we have now created this slogan that Africa first, then everyone else second. If there's a banana, we are asking if has all Africans eaten first, because that's what other nations do. That's what the Afrikaner do. That's what the British do. That's what the Chinese do. That's what the Indians do. That's what the Russians do. The Russians are giving you guns because they've got enough. If they did not have enough, they would not give you any guns. China is helping you build bridges because they have enough. They would not have helped you otherwise. Africa is time. Africa uses its minerals to advance the betterness of the life of African people. Cannot be a Pan-Africanist, but you're thinking of sharing with other people. You can't. So we're going to be holding Mkhonto weSizwe to their word. Say, hey, you said you're a Pan-Africanist. And I must say they've been consistent in this pursuit of Pan-Africanism. They've been very consistent. I must give them a clap there. Understand? But we'll be watching them carefully. Everyone, the EFF, everyone will be watching them carefully. We don't want to catch them sleeping. So my question is that you who's watching this channel, how do you feel about Pan-Africanism? Do you understand what Pan-Africanism is? Do you understand what we will be doing on Paseta, the Pan-Africanist School of Economics, Technology and Agriculture? Do you understand what will be happening there? Or you are just lost? Asaz. Let's meet next time, guys. Let's meet next time. Tell me what you think on the comment section about Mkhonto weSizwe saying that they are Pan-Africanist movement. Do you believe them or you don't? Until we meet next time, don't forget to pray. After you pray, stand up, African child. Do your best so that God can do the rest. Peace in Pan-Africanism. Ntanda nonke makhaya.